welcome to Main Pod Girl.
This is a podcast made by popheads for popheads.
Every episode, y'all can check in with us while we discuss your burning questions, as well as what's happening in pop music.
Throughout this series, we'll be chiming in on our favorite recent discussion threads and chatting with some of our all-time favorite artists and music commentators.
Hiya! I'm an alt-pop artist, songwriter, and a spicy meatball, Sola.
What's up? I'm a pop rock artist, songwriter, and the 8th gym leader, AJ Marks. And today, I have one of my lifelong best friends as a very special guest co-host. You may know her from soundtracking shows like Red vs. Blue and Ruby, spelled R-W-B-Y, or as the lead vocalist of OK Good Night, ! It's Casey Lee Williams.
Woo! Hi, guys. So nice to be here.
We needed to get in that exclamation point, you know?
Yeah, I gotta get in the exclamation point.
Always.
People need to know that it's enthusiastic, you know?
It has to be emphasized.
It's true. And you know what? We also have to emphasize today's guest. For this episode, we have an extra super special guest that we could not be more excited to have on. With 2 Grammys, 4 ARIA Music Awards, and 7 New Zealand Music Awards, she's known globally for one of the biggest songs in music history, the Gautier collab, Somebody I Used to Know. We are so unbelievably stoked to talk with her about her upcoming 4th album. Give it up for Kimbra.
Kimbra, coming to us live from a New York coffee shop.
How we doing?
Good.
I made it through that bio somehow.
You did it. You really did that.
Thanks, Queen.
It's a forthcoming album in many ways because it's an upcoming 4th album, I guess.
It's true.
Yeah, I like that. I liked how you did that. I was like, that's accurate. Yeah.
Thank you.
Clever.
I'm a songwriter. I paint with my words.
So let's start off with an icebreaker. What is everyone listening to right now?
I have 2 things that I want to shout out. One, have you heard the JPEG Mafia remix of High Beams by TK Maitza?
I haven't heard that. Oh my God. I love JPEG.
This collab, it's serving, it's giving, it's
all the things.
Oh, yeah.
all the INGs, all the positive INGs.
All the positive ones. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
I was only thinking of negative ones. I was like, oh, really? That one too?
Yeah. That? Yeah. And then my friend Alex introduced me to this producer, a guy called, I really hope I don't fuck up his name. It's Sam Galatry. Do you know him?
Sam Galatry, no. Sorry to this man.
I would recommend the song Duo. You should definitely know this man. He is a really, really interesting producer in that, like, he's almost like S.G. Lewis in his accessible popness, but then at the same time has a sort of edge to him.
The 2 things that make up you as a human being is S.G. Lewis and edge.
Love that.
Call me out. It's true. What about you, AJ?
Okay, well, the main pod girls we've had on the show previously have all been coming through with the hits recently. Maisie Peters, Betty Who, Mimi Webb, S.G. Lewis, Gail, Maggie Lindemann, Magdalena Bay. These past 6 weeks have been absolutely packing my playlist. And now, obviously, I can include Kimbra into the list as well. And I feel incredibly biased because these are all people we've had on the show, but like I can't make a song not slap, you know? It's like a little bit of a chicken or the egg situation.
True.
Yeah, thank you for all these recommendations. I'm like taking notes. I love getting ideas from people who have similar music tastes to me. So yeah, taking notes. Keep going.
Casey, what about you?
Yeah, for me, it's always so hard to narrow down even like just one song or one artist because I'm so fucking all over the place like every single day. But Nick Hakim just released a new album. I've been listening to that because it's been crazy vibe.
What is the vibe?
Really warm, trippy R&B with like radio style, like vintage production on some of the instrumentation.
Okay, I'm definitely writing that down.
Yeah, it's great. He's great. I mean, like, I've always really liked him, but I think this is a really special project that he's just released. I think I should also list the 2 newest bop singles definitely Kimbra's Save Me and Paramore's This Is Why.
Yep.
Oh,
Classic
cool.
Paramore.
Yes.
They're killing me.
Only Ever Grown on Me.
It's not classic Paramore in that it just sounds like Hayley Williams' new stuff, but with a band. But like, I'm not against it. I'm here for it. I like
Oh my
it.
God,
Exactly.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
those albums. I love
I'm
them so much.
ridiculously here for it. I really love, of course, being in like a prog band. Like, even though it's not all I make, I'm like so interested when there's even like a semblance of some kind of like proggy groove or something, and like that chorus. I'm here for it.
Okay, well, then I have a recommendation for both you and Kimbra. A song called Embroidery by an artist called Hanne Huckelberg.
I love her.
Do you know her?
I
Oh my God.
Yes. No, I like
Oh.
know her. Like, she's my friend.
Oh, wow.
No, 100%. Yeah. I dated a guy for 3 years in Oslo. And so I did like long distance back and forth to Oslo. And Hannah became my friend. So we would go out for coffee and shit. She's amazing.
Oh my God,
my
she's
God, yes.
amazing. She is so inspiring. Like, she's just constantly putting out this really, cutting edge music that I feel is so underrated in so many ways.
Yes.
Cool. Yes. I had trouble finding her at first. Only person that was coming up was Gabby Hanna, which is not who I was
No.
going to see, but I found it. So.
Yeah, her name is spelled Hanne because Norwegians.
Yes.
So,
Love it.
all right, Kimbra, what have you been listening to?
All right, let's go. So I've known about this artist for a long time, but I can't, you know how some people are on your radar, but you just, I've been aware of her work peripherally, but I've never sat down and really listened to it. But she just released a new album called Serpentina, and her name is Banks.
I love Banks.
I know. So she just released a record, and there's a few songs on it. There's like 3 songs I love. Well, I love it all, but one is called Dead End. Another is called Fuck Love, which is like such a banger. And it's just all about her being like, I'm done with this.
Yes. We all need one of those.
There's another one called Skinny Dipped, which is just like the vocal phrasing she does on this shit is like, I was like, it's like straight rap. Like, I mean, she's like a rapper, but doing it melodically. And that's like my shit is just rhythm. So and then we've actually been talking a little bit, and it turns out she's like a big fan of my music. And so it's like this big, beautiful amalgamation of like excitement of meeting someone that I love, but also just jamming to her shit. So that's been a really cool discovery for me. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Okay, holy fuck, when is the collab coming?
I mean, she did say that. She was like, I wish I was in New York longer. We could go to the studio. So
Wait, are you based in New York?
yeah, so I have been living in New York for 8 years, maybe more now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
Time is flowing. I've, nearly been in America nearly 10 years. So really starting to feel like this. I guess this is where I'm at now.
I guess that's why the accents shifted.
Oh, it
a
shifts.
little bit.
Ooh, it shifts. It's a oscillating,
It goes in and out.
constant. It goes all around the world.
But amazing. I'm so happy to hear that you're friends with Hannah, because if you, Amelia Nicola, Hannah, and then maybe just thrown a cheeky little Banks, like had a song, I think that would be like my like alt girl Lady Marmalade. And I think
Oh my
that,
God. Yeah. Cheeky Banks.
I'm not
That cracks me up.
yes. Just a cheeky little Banks. I'm not saying that this needs to happen, but I'm also not saying
Yeah,
that.
I get it. Totally.
Like, it is the dream blunt rotation.
Sure.
I appreciate that.
So let's play a little game that we like to call song superlatives. In American high school yearbooks, the graduating class usually votes for their peers for a number of different categories, like labeling someone from your class clown, or most likely to be on Broadway. Kimbra, we want to give you the chance to give your songs their own song superlatives. We'll list off a category, and you can pick a song from any of your discography, including ones from the forthcoming album, that come to mind. The first one is Life of the Party. What song of yours is the life of the party?
Okay, let's see. I think there's something super unapologetically life of the party about my song 90s music. It's just so like, I'm here, and I'm like weird as fuck, and it's like a very like alt pop song, but it's also like celebratory, like the bit where it's talking about Aaliyah and Mary J. Blige and Nirvana and TLC.
All the classics.
I just feel like when I listen to that song, she's the girl that I always wanted to be at the party. That's like, she got the best playlist, and she's like so pumped and crazy and unapologetic. Yeah, so that's the one I picked.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
The next song is Best Glow Up. So this is a song that you feel has changed the most from the beginning of writing it to the final product.
Or could it be like most improved? Remember when you had like someone at school who got the most improved award?
Most improved.
Most improved.
God. The like very
so
backhanded
sad.
award.
It's so passive aggressive.
Like, we used to hate you, but now you're cute and you can stay. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Well, yeah, it's a great question, actually. Many of my songs start very humbly. You know, they start on piano or on guitar. I think most improved, it would be Settle Down. Settle Down started when I was about 16 years old. I had an 8-track recording device that I borrowed from the music room. And, you know, I would be so embarrassed to show you now, but it was just me doing the boomba boomba stuff and being honestly very satirical. It was a joke. It was a silly song. It was like a little bit of a fun lullaby thing. And of course, what that became, you know, was actually a very like, kind of like a profound commentary on womanhood and syncopation, percussively interesting horns. Like, you know, it really became this tapestry of sound.
Satire always has the best commentary.
Yeah. So I think that one's definitely seen the most growth and continues to. I mean, even now, I think that song is kind of continuing to have a cultural opinion as I get older as a woman, you know?
I remember finding that song when I was like, I don't know, 17 and being like, oh holy shit, this is my favorite thing ever. And then I still listen to it and I'm like, oh my God, it still has new meaning like every time that I listen to it.
Yeah, like, very true. Very true. I literally just like the other day, I listened and was watching the video of the single one more time. That is one that I don't hear very much anymore because I'm so focused on like the newer stuff. And like, it really is like so wild and nostalgic almost now to like go back and like look at that era and be like, wow, this was just like, it really was such a fucking statement in the best kind of way.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You maybe have been asked this before, but I'm still just so curious about it. Like, did you know and were you kind of expecting the success that you got from Settle Down and the reaction that you sort of got from it?
So I had an interesting early career because I had a lot of investment being put into me as a young artist, right? I was like being funded as a 17-year-old to make my first record. I had a Pro Tools rig in my house. I had a company investing in me. So there was a lot of, it was privileged as anything, right? But also a lot of pressure, you know, like I was like, shit, I gotta make this. I gotta really. So there was a certain expectation of like, not this will do well or like, this better do well, you know, because like I got a lot of money to pay back to this company. And I did feel like I was a very ambitious pop artist. So I felt like when you're doing something different, there's a risk that it won't connect because it doesn't sound like everything on the radio. So I knew that was an option. But I became a child of the internet. I was on MySpace, and it was really Perez Hilton that actually gave me my big push. He discovered my music and did this blog post about it. And that's what kind of got me into the awareness of Warner Brothers, who later signed me. This is all before the Gautier collaboration. So yeah, I can't say I totally expected it, but I certainly hoped for it. And I think that's an important part of being a new artist is you've got to really manifest and kind of see your success.
Even apart from Settle Down, is there a song, another track from your first album that you feel like you kind of maybe wish got a little bit more attention or this, you know, maybe similar level to Settle Down? Because I think there's so many really incredible, interesting tracks on that first album, Vows.
Look, I had 6 singles off that record, and they all had music videos. And then I had a re-release of the record in America with 4 additional songs that also had music videos. Like, that's a long campaign for a record. So I just feel blessed, you know? Nowadays, it's hard to get, you know, it's like okay, like let's hope for third single. Let's hope we can get a music video, you know? But back then, your girl was getting some nice cash for music videos. Like I don't really, it was nice. It was nice. So yeah, I think they all got their flowers, man. I really do. And I'm just really thankful for that.
Wow. 2011 was a different time.
Yeah.
Truly.
So the next one is Best Dressed. So this would be the song that you would say has the best either production or instrumentation.
Okay. So this would definitely have to be on the Golden Echo, because that's like definitely the best dressed album I made, just because there's so much love in every detail, every thread, every fucking color that was used was meticulously mixed. I went back to it recently for the first time in years, and I was really proud, man. I was like, yo, that girl's really trying for something. She's really pushing for something there. Good on her. Good on her, you know? And I think there were a couple of songs that really stood out as being sort of, like you said, meticulously produced. One of them is kind of a deeper cut. It's one of my favorites off that album. It's called Rescue Him. If you just go back to the synth bass line, like there's this warmth to it. The vocals cut, they're crispy as fuck. They're like super R&B, but the bass is just holding you. It's very sensual. And then it has this bridge, the key change. It's just, I think it's a very well-crafted song. I think we did a very good job at designing that track. That'd take the cake, I think. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The next one is Most Unique, the song that you feel like stands out the most in your discography.
Which for you, I feel like is a really tall request.
Yeah.
Yeah, holy shit.
Well, you know what? I'm excited to say I think it's going to be the next single I'm coming out with.
Ooh.
I think you'll know what I mean. It has this kind of chord progression that's very haunting and almost got a like Kid A era kind of feel to it. But then the beat is like, I don't know, it sounds like Azealia Banks could jump on it or something. It's like just super club dance floor and just very aggressive. And because of that fusion, like evocative, contemplative worlds, and then like very fuck off drums, you know, I think that's probably the song that I'm most excited for people to hear. No one's going to see it coming.
I mean, no one but us. Yeah, we'll know.
Y'all have the inside scoop.
So is it like top of the world, like extreme?
More so, yeah.
More so.
I'd say more so, yeah.
Awesome.
Let's go.
Yeah, same idea though, right? Because art to me is all about reaction, right? So we're reacting, right? We're reacting to what's happening in the world. And Top of the World was a reaction to Everybody Knows, which was a very kind of, again, contemplative song. And then we went somewhere totally different and very primal. And I like to play with expectations. And so this song will do the same thing. Yeah.
So exciting.
Kimbra, what's your favorite song of yours?
Wow. You know, I'm a classic artist in the sense that my favorite song is always the newest one I've written.
Yeah.
That's what I get excited to show someone is the newest thing.
No, that's good. That's what you want. That's what you don't want to feel like you can't top yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, so I did write this song recently called Love All Around Me. And I performed it at a little church at a concert I did recently. And it's just this joy to revealing a song that you just written and playing it for people and hearing their first visceral response. That one, I think, has a lot of potential, and hopefully you'll hear it, you know, on a future record. Not this one, but, because I just wrote it. But on the new album, I will say that there's a few rap features on this record. So it's, like, really exciting to have more pop influence because it's such a big part of my world. You know, it's, like, what I listen to. But, yeah, there's this track called GLT, and it stands for Girl Like That. And it's just me being like, you know what? You think I'm this, but I'm not just that. I'm also this. And it's just really taking back that power of what it means to be a multifaceted female that is full of contradictions, full of paradoxes. And that's okay, you know? That's like the whole experience. And it's not like anything new, like no one's written about that. But I think the way that I do it in this song has a very like exciting, empowering vibe. And it features an amazing rapper that I just always wanted to work with. So I'm just like, that song is my current favorite.
Yes.
The last one is the best couple that never was. So this is a song of yours that you wanted a collaboration on, or a song that you could make into a dream collaboration.
Well, I did. This is kind of like in the vault, it's not that vaulty. I mean, it's like, I did start the song Top of the World with Donald Glover. Childish Gambino. So we were in the studio together. We've made a few things together that have never come out, and that hook. On top of the world. You know, that was me and him jamming. That was us back and forth. We were doing, that was on the mic together, right? So I said to Donald, like, we have to do this, because we had a couple of other jams we were working on as well. But he had just started Atlanta. Yeah, he was super engaged and good going into film. And quite honestly, actually wasn't that hype on music anymore. And he was having a lot of label problems at the time. Like, they were kind of coming after him for some shit. It's like not a time that he wanted to be writing. You know, he did the session, of course, and he was pumped on the song, but like, yeah. And of course, you know, actually Snoop Dogg did appear on a version of that track later, which was super dope too. But,
Casual Snoop collab.
Casual Snoop, yeah. But I think I just always dreamed of me and Donald actually doing it together, because like that's how it started, you know. But I also totally respect he's gone on to do some pretty crazy shit, so that'll come back around to some other things that we need to finish. So yeah, but that's always just like haunts me, you know, like what if?
Yeah.
So it's not the best couple that ever was, it's the best couple that is not yet.
Yeah.
I also actually noticed when I was listening to that in the songwriting credits is Sonny Moore, aka Skrillex. Is he involved in it somehow?
Oh yeah. So the beat that and then I did the over it. But that beat is something Sonny showed me at his house. I was with Miguel and Thundercat. We were at Sonny's house and he showed us that. I was like, this is crazy. Can I take it away and jam on it? And then when I had my session with Childish, that's what I brought in. Let's jam on this. Yeah. So what a weird fucking world of people, huh?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Insane. And Miguel and Thundercat. What is...
I know. Just casually. What the fuck? It's just wild.
Sort of rewinding a little bit to settle down. So you were talking about how its origin was in your 8-track machine. Is that what gave you the idea to start using the looper that became like the viral sensation that it was at the time?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah, because I mean, everyone needs their first moment with layering their voice. It's basically you go from realizing that you are one instrument as a single voice and you're another instrument as a double and a triple. It's a big moment for all of y'all, right? When you heard your voice panned. Go, oh my God,
yes,
like I sound like Aaliyah, you know? It's like, that was my tool that allowed me to do it. And I used that for many years. You know, I was a guitarist playing my kind of singer-songwriter songs, but, you know, I was very bored by singer-songwriter music. So I wanted to make it more interesting, which is why I would start a beat, layer up like a stack of ahs, for example, at the top of the track. And then, of course, you get bored with that. And so you buy a voice line. Yeah. And I never read the manual, never fucking read the manual, but I would just kind of press things and be like, oh, what if you do this? And then evidently, you know, you changed my life with the voice line. And I'm like, I never even read how to use that thing, but thank you.
It's a great kind of tool because music is like that one thing where you get to be like a kid again, kind of like a kid in a playground. We as adults don't really have that same imagination where we can go to one playground and be there for hours and hours and hours on end without having any deep, meaningful conversation or have like a specific game or something in mind that we're supposed to do. Like, so it's like music is that for us. Like one toy I'll just never get tired of is the vocoder. Like, I've been obsessed with it since like as long as I can remember, as long as I've been making music, and I have not fallen out of love with it. If I hear a song that has vocoder in it, it will be my favorite song. It's just, I don't make the rules. It's just how it works.
So true.
Some toys are just timeless like that. I mean, like literally you throw an 808 on something and I'm already like, I'm into it, you know, like it can take literally such a small thing to make something nostalgic and relatable, and you connect to it and you're like, this is great.
Recently for me, I've been like experimenting a lot with like formant shifting in my voice and stuff.
Yeah.
What about you, Kimbra? What's your go-to thing now that you're in love with?
For me, it's a cabasa. If you're making a beat and then you put a little on it, I'm like, oh my God. Like I'm hearing Pharrell, I'm hearing Timbaland. I'm there. It's like cabasa. It never fucks up a song. Never, ever, ever, ever.
That's true. I can't think of one example on where
you can't think of one example where you're like, I wish that cabasa wasn't there. It only makes things swing. It's such a swinging instrument. I'm a huge form and shift person too. Sola, you're gonna love the new record because I think that's probably the central character is vocal evolution. It's constantly shifting spatial environments. It goes from these wide open kind of industrial warehouses to being like whispering like a Tom York vocal that's just like in your ear. It's so far in your ear that it's in your brain. You know, when people talk about writer's block, it's like, is it a thing? Because are you ever really blocked or are you just disillusioned by what you're listening to? And often all we need is to hear it another way. Like, what does it look like for me to hate the song I'm working on, but then I send it to Sola and I go, well, could you just remix this for me? Or could you just cover it for me? Now it's not mine. So now I'm hearing it totally different. Am I still blocked now? I mean, I doubt it. I doubt it because now I'm reacting to something new. And again, I come back to art is all about reaction. You are not going to be inspired if you have nothing to react to.
In like a similar kind of story, a friend of the pod, Zara Larson, her big single that like broke her to the entire world, Lush Life, she recorded Lush Life as like one thing and it sounded completely different. And then someone remixed it and she released that remix as the original instead.
Wow.
And that was the version that blew up and became like her number one hit in all these countries. And then only last year she released the retro version, which the whole time I just thought they were adding new production, but it was actually what's now the demo, but was supposed to be the final version.
Damn.
I love that.
And I have a question. You were coming up 10 years ago, right around that time, there was this like idea as like an indie artist, as an independent artist, as like an upcoming artist, just as anything that wasn't like the mainstream, that you had to be pushing boundaries in a way where you were like, you had no inspiration, you weren't like anyone else kind of thing. And I really love that you tap into the references and the inspirations and the reactions you've had and how important that is, because a lot of people, I think, are afraid of reacting to something or referencing something or being inspired by something because they're afraid that like, well, then it'll just be a ripoff of this. I like that you really embrace the references there. Did you feel a little bit of that pressure when you were first coming up to like be something completely unique?
It's so funny that you pick up on that because, I mean, generally what people would say is that there's pressure in pop music to be like someone else, right? But I think you are right that when you're a little bit more like left-leaning, there's another pressure of like, well, you can't reference anything. You can't openly talk about being influenced by this person because then everyone's just going to compare you to them. I'm very upfront about the fact that we learn as singers and producers by copying. Like, of course you do. That's what you do. Like, you're a kid.
Yeah.
You hear Destiny's Child, Say My Name, and then you write a song called Mary Jane, and it's just Say My Name, but it's Mary, you know what I mean? Like you just write the same song with a different word, right? Yeah. Well, everyone does, but it's building confidence, you know, by just hearing yourself mime another person, you're seeing that you have the capacity to be sassy like Beyonce too. Now you're trying to be Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails. Now you're trying to be Bjork, and now everything sounds like Bjork. And I am lucky that I didn't ever sound too referential, I think.
Yeah.
I want to get a little bit annoyingly deep and ask about feelings.
Let's get the feelers out.
Yeah, let's get a little deep with it. Definitely already started falling like madly in love with Save Me for a multitude of reasons, but I think the biggest one is that it's almost like ruthlessly relatable and it's so deeply personal to you at the same time. One of those essential lyrics that's in the chorus, I'm sinking into my feelings and I'm scared they're going to drown my confidence. This line just like really touched me when I heard it. On a personal level, like, do you think that there's a relationship between one's feelings, whether they're feelings for a person, the world, just anything and everything, and your own confidence?
Ooh, yeah, totally. I was so scared to write that, Casey. Like, I was so scared to put that on paper. You know, because it's not the sexiest thing to say. So don't you feel sometimes as women that, like, sometimes it's hard to always be empowered? Be Beyonce, you know? Like, some days I feel like that. But a lot of the days I feel useless and not sexy at all. And I have nothing sexy to say. I have nothing empowering to say. The most revelatory line in that song for me is, I lack the courage to take care of myself Doesn't that turn you on? You know, hearing a woman say she can't take care of herself. I mean, it's just like heartbreaking. It's so true, you know?
So true.
I feel like the two interplay in one's life just constantly. And so I thought that was a really interesting way to talk about it in the song.
But I wrote that song for my therapist, and not many people know that. He said, I want you to write something that no one will ever hear. And I wrote Save Me on the piano.
Oh, wow.
And then I listened back to it on my headphones, and I said, the world needs this song.
It does read as a song that you could write either to yourself or your therapist while you're like thinking about and trying to like suss out your feelings and figure out whether or not I can't hold it. I don't know if I can. I just totally get that. I really resonate with that. A lot of people, and especially women, are like this, but we're just very emotional beings. You know, I can cry at like a leaf.
No, me too.
It's ridiculous. And so I think that also, yeah, what you said about, you know, maybe I can hold it. Like, I think that's sort of part of the intensity of the emotion that we're constantly feeling with just existence. It's just, well, it doesn't really matter, does it, if I can hold it or not? I'm just here and I'm just floating around and I have to experience it and I'm going to, and that's what's going to keep driving me, you know?
How often is that an exercise that you sort of go through where you're like, I'm just going to write what is true to me right now, and it doesn't matter who hears it as long as I hear it, and I'm going to make people uncomfortable?
I wish it was a little more of a practice.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard. It is hard, especially when this is my job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since I was 17 years old, it's literally the only thing I have ever done.
Congrats.
Yeah, well, thank you. No, but I say that not to be like, oh my God, like, look at me. I mean it in the sense of like, this is the only way I've ever made money. And it's like this, I can't take that out of my brain that like I have to make music that is going to have some sort of life beyond myself. Like, it's very romantic to be like, oh, I just write for myself and like, it's just for me. It's like, it's very romantic. And of course, at the heart of it, of course, it's just for me. You know, it's like, I would not be doing this if I, you know, that I'm not an artist serving the man, like with my pop hits, trying to fake fucking money. Like, no. But in saying that, it's always in the back of my mind. That's why I had to set that boundary that this song will not come out. Save Me will not come out. That's the boundary I needed to write something that honest.
You know how you were talking about like being sexy, being the Beyonce in your delivery, and like how Save Me isn't a very sexy message. Being an artist, you get to filter, technically, you get to pick which photos people see. You get to filter kind of your art of like what you get to say and how you get to say it and how it sounds. Exactly. You get to record the vocal a million times when it comes to something that's recorded. How much do you decide to filter that in a way in which you want to feel like I won't say the best version of yourself, but the version of yourself that you see in your head? And how much of it are you like, I'm going to have to incorporate the person that I am on the outside that other people see?
Oh, what a beautiful, insightful, important question. I seek to grant others the permission to feel, to dance, to cry, okay? Now, how do I grant others permission? I don't have any power of them. I mean, but, you know, the way I do that is to first go there myself. It's like the Christ, right? Who says, like, I don't mean to compare myself to a fucking Messiah.
Compare yourself to Christ. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Let's have it. Let's have it.
Yeah. We do it at least once per episode. So,
you know, I must go there first. Otherwise, I'm asking you to do something I want to do. That's not shared vulnerability. What makes my fans want to step in there with me? And Casey knows, because we've worked together, what makes her want to go, actually, yeah, I'll follow you. Yeah, I'll go there with you. And yeah, it might be very sexy or it might be very sad. Whatever I need to do that. And if the way I need to get there is to do a whole lot of like really empowering photo shoots and like my skin looks perfect and like that gives woman like, fuck yeah, I want to look like Kimbra today. Like, I'm totally down for that, you know? But if I also want them to feel their vulnerability, then I better have some photos with some acne too, and like let them feel that that's okay first. You've got to be willing to go there first. That's the key.
I love the way you look at it. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Shall we wrap this episode up on a top 5.
So this is where we list our top 5 of a certain category. And on this episode, we're going to do our top 5 Anzac artists, which, for those who don't know, are musicians or bands from Australia or New Zealand.
So my number 5 is, I mean, it's going to be very Australia heavy just because Australia is a bigger country, but I do have some New Zealand thrown in there. And
yes. A disclaimer, we can't choose Kimbra.
We can't choose Kimbra, unfortunately. But my number 5 is Bee Gees, because my dad, and Casey, you know this, my dad is the biggest Bee Gees fan ever. So I grew up listening to them every day in the car, especially the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. That was everything for us. So, and my number 4 is Benny. My sister showed me her music in the pandemic. I think Super Lonely was robbed of being a top 10 hit in the US. It was just such a moment to me, you know, and I just felt like if anything deserves it, this does, just because it was like right at the start of the pandemic and it was on the forefront of that like kind of new disco movement, but also that like that idea of just having like really feel good songs to get you through the first few months of the lockdown. I just feel like that was like, that came out at the exact right time for her and for me. My number 3 is apparently a Popheads lurker, Troye Sivan. So if you're listening, I adore your work. Please come on the pod. I know that you're around here somewhere. My number 2, oh God, so much bias. My number 2, she's a former guest of the podcast, but she's such a legend. And I've seen her live multiple times and I absolutely adore her. Her new album is fucking incredible. It's Betty Who. And then my number 1 is Sia. I got really into her music around the time that I started learning piano. Like I knew about her music beforehand, but right around the time I started learning piano, I started playing, I think it was Cloud off of the We Are Born album. And that was like the first song I played on piano. And then, I mean, since then, like Death by Chocolate's another like huge, like standard to me. One of my favorite songs of all time, especially because I'm allergic to chocolate. She's like one of my like greatest songwriting influences.
So my number 5, another Kiwi sweetheart, it's Lorde. Just her first album was just a lot for me at the time it came out. My number 4 is Sia. Like Chandelier is still like impossible to sing. I've been training for years. My number 3 is also Troye Sivan. My is next level. My number 2, I saw him live in Liverpool and it gave me so much inspiration at the time, just so much beauty and simple arrangements that were taken to the next level live. Like I was just, Matt Corby. It's Matt Corby.
Oh yeah.
My number 1, also probably in my top 5 Instagram users, it's Flume, because A, he's so fucking funny, and B, he's just so innovative and he's just so like experimental, obviously, with what he's doing. And he's made some of my all-time favorite emotional electronic songs. Mm-hmm. And that's me. What about you, Casey?
Love that. Yeah, for me, the honorable mentions were going to be like Flume and Troye Sivan, because I listened to so much Troye Sivan growing up. The Blue Neighborhood era was incredible. My 5 is going to be the group called the Avalanches. I just only I feel like very late recently discovered them. My sister sent me one of their albums, most recent, and like I just heard stuff on that in regards to sampling, in regards to collabs, just like having guest artists on, that I was like, I've never heard anything like this before. This is absolutely revolutionary and so cool. My 4 is going to be a band called Closure in Moscow. They're still pretty small, but they are a really, really cool prog band that blends a lot of the sounds of like the prog and rock metal artists that I loved growing up. And if there's anything I love, it's finding a band or an artist that I'm like, wow, oh my God, they sound like such a combination of this artist and this artist and this artist. Like that's just always the best. And then my 3 is going to be Pogo. He's like a producer and he's really big on sampling. So he takes lots of samples from nostalgic childhood movies, Alice in Wonderland, Star Trek, Star Wars, just like lots of pop culture type things, and creates just these really cool beats. His use of rhythm in like every single beat is like so fucking dope, just so cool. Every once in a while, it's just a house beat, but it's still great. Yeah, shout out Pogo. I think he's been a huge influence for me. Tame Impala is my 2, because not only just seeing them live and it being like one of the coolest live performances I've ever seen, but I do just think he's just got a really incredible sound that I think has influenced so many artists since he started. So legend.
And his visuals are amazing.
Yeah.
Like he inspires in so many ways.
Yeah, like it's crazy. And then one is going to be Gautier, because Gautier is how I discovered Kimbra. I do mean from the song, the legendary song. But when they went on tour after that, I saw Gautier at the House of Blues and Kimbra opened. That was where I was enamored and just could not believe the performance that they both put on. And yeah, I think every single one of his works, I listen and listen and listen.
Yeah.
Just constantly re-listening to Making Mirrors and being like, what the fuck?
All right, Kimbra, do you have a top 5?
Yes, I do.
By the way, I just have to say, I love how you're just strolling around New York City, like just
Live it up.
casually on a podcast, strolling around New York City. I don't think we've had a guest just like out in the wild like that, but I absolutely adore it. I adore it.
Well,
Such a
I'm
vibe.
busy lady, you know. Got lots to do out here.
Got places to be.
Got places to be. But I did have a think about this. Okay, I'll dive straight in. I'm gonna say number 5 is a band that for New Zealanders is, you know, royalty, and they're called Crowded House. Now, you know their song, Hey now, don't dream it's over. Yeah,
Yes.
beautiful. And like everyone who's spanned off the Crowded House family has gone on to make amazing music, and they're just like staples, you know. Number 4, an artist from Australia called Genesis Owusu. I believe he's indigenous to Australia. He's an absolutely incredible artist. Listen to the song Centerfold. That is a motherfucking jam.
Oh, I know Genesis. Great shout.
Then I would say next would be, I was going to also say Tame Impala because they're just such a huge influence on me, like melodically. But I'm going to instead say one of the sister bands. There's a few sort of side projects of members from Tame Impala, but one in particular that I really like is called Methyl Ethyl. They have a song called Ubu, which is amazing. So jump on that.
These are all great names.
Yeah. Number 2, one of my biggest influences growing up, or rather, you know, favorite bands was Silverchair, and of course the, you know, infamous Daniel Johns, who went on to make a lot of really cool solo music. He also was one of my main collaborators on The Golden Echo. So I would say Silverchair would be number 2. And then number 1 is they're brothers, okay? So one of the brothers is the lead singer of Unknown Mortal Orchestra.
Oh!
Yes.
Yeah, he's a New Zealander, good friend of mine, Ruben Nielsen. And then his brother was the drummer of Unknown Mortal Orchestra, but he also has an insane solo project called Silicon. So there's Ruben Nielsen and then there's Cody Nielsen. And they are both from New Zealand, and they are just both like the most incredible musicians, songwriters. So just definitely check out Silicon.
Thank you so much, Kimbra, for joining us. If people want to follow you or find out more about what you're doing, where should they go?
Just Instagram, I guess, or wherever. Yeah, I'm just Kimbra Music across the internet. So yeah, I had so much fun with all of y'all. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Oh, please come back anytime. It was so nice to speak with you. And if you want to follow me, you can find me at I Am Solo Music on all socials. And I'm coming out with new music soon and like a little rebrand, a cheeky little cute little rebrand. It's time to add a last name.
And you can find me at AJ Marks Official on all social media. What about you, Casey?
I'm at Casey Lee Williams. And funny enough, that is my full name that I've been using since I was a minor making music and probably will continue to. But when I put out my solo EP, I'm going to lose the last name and I'm just going to go Casey Lee.
Oh, this This is extra jarring for me, who knew you as Casey Williams for my whole life, and then Casey Lee Williams was the artist name, and now it's okay, cool. I just have 3 or 4 names for you to go by.
I'll still go by it all, though.
So many rebrands. Kimbra, do you want to just like rebrand just to
Well, I lost my bangs. That was my rebrand. I have no bangs.
That's true,
Oh my
actually.
goodness!
I just thought they were pinned back.
She's giving forehead. Yay!
She's giving forehead.
I love that.
Forthcoming album and forehead. We're doing it. It's a whole thing.
Oh my God.
And thank you so much once again for coming on. Thank you, Nick, for the episode artwork, and thank you, Noah, for the theme music. We will speak to you soon. Bye.
Thank you all so much.